Good morning, everybody. I see a room full of beautiful young minds. And I've just witnessed, I think, one of the most spellbinding performances, creative performances put together, bits and pieces of it, which are truly overwhelming. Thank you, Dr. Ruchi Seth, for inviting me here to be a part of this group and being inspired by them. It is truly inspiring what you people are doing, what has been done within these portals, within these walls. And the mock United Nations which you're doing, there's nothing really mock about it. No, this is a far more serious business than what actually happens at the UNGA in New York. Because you are the young influencers. You make the change. You make the difference. And sitting in this room, we experience the fascinating changes you make with your, in collaboration with your philosophers, with your friends, with your guides. I don't call them teachers. They are a part of your milieu. They are a part of your life. And you have such brilliant minds, brilliant creative persons working with you on all these things. What should I talk to you about? It's very, very difficult when you start talking of something like a mock United Nations or United Nations, the work of the United Nations. How many of you do not play Minecraft? Hands raised, do not play. Oh, how many of you know about Minecraft? Everybody, right? How many of you play Minecraft? There are lots of people who play Minecraft. Some people are feeling shy that they'll be reported on playing Minecraft. But you see, if you play Minecraft, you are actually already well versed in this world of complexity. You know what complexity is. You know when you talk of the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, that choices are not simple. That there are no perfect choices. What are you doing? You're mining resources, you're building blocks, you're building structures, you're building dams, you're creating all kinds of things on your little screens. You're learning to compete with others. You're also learning to cooperate with others. You learn to cooperate with others to fight the monsters who come and attack you, the zombies who come and attack you out of nowhere. So there are lots of things happening in front of you in that screen. So you are already well versed and well introduced into a world of complete complexity where there are no simple answers. The answers are complex. The answers are not the best answers. And the perfect answer is the enemy of the good. It does not let the normal good things happen because there cannot be any perfect answer. It's never a win-win. It is win or lose. You compromise somewhere, you build something else somewhere. Now that is the way the world moves. And that is the most important lesson that today you're learning. I come from a generation which did not have Minecraft. I come from a generation where it was a generation of the black and white television. There were only two colors on the screen, black and white, on or off. If the light comes on, it becomes white, otherwise it remains black. And all the pictures are created on the black and white screens. Now come to think of it, today I'm wearing black and white because I belong also to that bipolar generation. We only think in terms of black and white. You people have moved on, the world has moved on much faster. See what happened, see what the transformations which took place in the world ever that. Look at it this way. When the television set existed, and those television sets were the size of your microwave ovens, they were huge, they were very heavy. I don't know how many of you have ever seen them. When those black and white television sets existed, where was the world? The world was in the middle of a Cold War. It was a bipolar world. Even in diplomacy, they call it a bipolar world. The world was divided into camps. And you either were with one side or with the other side. So bipolarity was about one is right and the other is wrong. Unfortunately, the world does not operate that way. It is not about zeros and ones. It is not about on and off. It is, as I said, a complex world. And you know that world. You've grown into a very different kind of world as your screens evolved and became this, which you carry around in your hand every day. What happened? Sometime, around the 80s, 60s to 80s, were periods of the Cold War, bipolarity. Then comes, suddenly you start thinking in terms of the color graphic schemes, the enhanced graphic the displays. The first ones just had 8 colors. The next generation, which came in immediately after, had jumped by that time to 64. Then the next jump was 256. You were now reaching the end of the 80s and 90s. Something else was happening in the world at that point of time. We started seeing things on our screens, experiencing things on our screen in several colors. The rainbow became live on it. We started seeing more differences. And from a black and white world, a bipolar world, we were moving gradually into a multicolored world. Until in the 90s, about 1990, we reach a world, the Berlin Wall collapses in 1989. The world becomes one. You enter a world of globalization, and everything becomes hunky-dory. It's a world where economic growth is going to fuel rapid movements, poverty is going to be eliminated, the SDGs are going to be great successes, a lot of things will happen, and the world will be heaven in about the next 25 years. That is the world of the 90s, the world of true color. That world did not last. Something else happened after that. What happened? From true color, we evolved further. See, fairy tales don't last. True color about fairy tales. Ultimately, midnight comes. Cinderella's golden coach becomes a pumpkin and rolls away. Those marvelous horses pulling it scamper away like the mice they really were. And the fairy tale ends. Superman remains a comic book character. So does Tony Stark. The real world is different. The real world changes. The real world is much more nuanced. And by the time you start reaching the 2000s, start reaching 2008, your display screens are also undergoing a massive transformation, a massive change. You're on to, you moved on from those, from true color was actually 16.4 million colors. But 16.4 million colors did not work to capture the diversity of what is virtual reality. You're only trying to attain reality, artificial reality. Still, it did not capture it. The next set of transformations. Now you are into OLED came, QLED came, you got into 4K, 8K, 16K screens, and then finally quantum dot technology, 2D screens. And that is where you are now. You are approaching, approaching that kind of transformational point where Minecraft is possible in your handheld screens. It would not have been possible in my time. You can actually play Minecraft, and Minecraft does not work on pixels. The old work worked on 2-dimensional pixels, black and white, on and off. The new world has now moved to voxels, which are 3D pixels. You would probably have to evolve beyond that to attain true reality. We are not there yet. We are still not there yet. So if you ask, why is the world getting complicated? Why we have reached where we are still evolving. And this evolving, this change is an extremely tough process. And those of you who play Minecraft know that there are infinite possibilities, infinite processes. The world is very diverse, and the problems, yes, can get very, very, very complicated. But there is something else which is happening. From a bipolar world of the 60s and 80s, we reached first, gradually over time, And now we say we are in a multipolar world. There are no defined powers. Everyone is a power. First of all, it was middle powers. Nations become stronger. Their debates become far more vocal in the United Nations. It is not just the P5. There are lots of others. There are other fish in the pond. The shape of the United Nations demands transformation. It demands those changes. Those changes are slow in coming. Because yes, there are many today, if you look around you, the problems in the world which you face today, many of the people who are in positions of power in the world today still suffer from bipolarity. Their perceptions are bipolar. They do not understand the value of multipolarity. They do not understand the value of nuance, of the subtle shades, the changes, the differences, the diversity which you saw on the stage today, which you produced. The great differences which separate us, which give us different kind of perceptions, many times different kinds of values. Every country has very contentious histories. Every country, every community in the world has gone through a lot of process of suffering. They all come with their perceptions. They all come with their baggage. Now, negotiating that baggage is not an easy process. And that is what you're going to be learning what to do and how to do it in the process of these debates. And as I said, you play Minecraft. You are very well versed in this process, far better versed than people like me are, than many of your teachers are. So go ahead into this in that spirit. Understand that, as I said, there are no perfect answers. The only answers are, that is why they say, diplomacy is about finding compromises. It's not compromise. It is what the Buddha said. You had that prayer which started with the invocation to Buddha. It is about finding that middle path, about understanding, about that empathy, about needing to walk in the other person's shoes and understanding where he comes from. So that is why a good diplomat often is a person who will settle for 70% of what he wants, not 100%, 70% of what he wants to avoid getting 100% of what he does not want. That is the difference. That is what building a consensus is all about, and building a consensus is not easy. Building a consensus is difficult. So many times, decisions get stalled, the two-state solution keeps getting pushed forever and forever and forever. You will find that it is a process which is unending. And many people say that, it's just important enough that we at least keep talking about it because it is still on the agenda. It stays on the table. Otherwise, it just goes away. And we are in a state where, yes, we are reaching a state where they say, maybe the two-state solution should not exist at all. That is the extreme bipolar position which a country is taking. Similarly, whether it is the war in Ukraine, which Dr. Shona mentioned, all of these suffer from that same problem, bipolarity. Bipolarity is a disorder. And the disorder needs to be treated. It needs to be removed. And today, let's say, more than multipolarity, we have moved into a world which is not just multipolar, it is multi-stakeholder. It is not just those 250 nations which are part of UN process, which are actually debating there. Technology has made the changes. Technology has connected the world in ways which it did not exist before. Today, everybody has a voice. Each one of you has a voice. Each one of you with a smartphone has a voice. And that voice, yes, gets heard. There are videos which go viral on the internet from time to time. And people do have to sit up and pay attention. So the work of coalition building, of building coalitions for the good, building partnerships for the good, finding the right kind of organizations like CHAO, like you've done to move something forward, to push an agenda forward, becomes extremely important. And yes, this is where we are. We are in a world of building proactive coalitions to do the good work that we are supposed to do, that we are meant to do. At the Observer Research Foundation, where I come from, we actually launched a program called the Young Influencers Program. It was largely, and it still runs, it is about focusing on the Sustainable Development Goals. And primarily, it is an outreach program which is sponsored by the United Nations. The purpose being that they know that all the debates do not take place in the UNGA. They are not covered in the UNGA. There are far too many other voices out there which need to be heard, which need to come out into the open. And we see the reason why they need to come out in the open. We saw that, we experienced that. Why they need far greater traction, far greater movement. So this is the purpose of really introducing you to the process of how the UNGA works, how its committees work, to try and understand, yes, that real world of complexity out there, and evolve where we can all evolve. I think you are far better placed to evolve better than us, because I said we come from a bipolar generation. We like to see the world in terms of black and white, right and wrong, to find that there are many, many, many more shades. So this is my message to all of you. This is what I want to talk to you all about. All the best for the program which you have in the days ahead. I'm sure you people will do very well, and it will be a great success. More than that, you are already making a difference. And that is what I want to tell you. Thank you so much.